Vrindavandam ki jai, Akshaya Tritiya ki jai. Akshaya, very auspicious. Tritiya means the third day. The third day of the waxing moon. Now, although we're going by the moon calendar, also today the sun calendar is very auspicious. So it's like a combination of the sun calendar and the moon calendar in auspiciousness, which is not usually happening. Okay, today many things are happening. One thing is right there, Parasuram appears, and he's even sung about, he's one of the 10 major incarnations. He's sung about because he came out to kill the Kshatriyas. The Kshatriyas had gotten bewildered and everything, and they were giving too much trouble, so he came out and he had to settle them down. Every once in a while that happens. Okay, so Parasuram came on this day. And also Ganesh, he's sitting there. Now this Ganesh isn't just any old Ganesh. This Ganesh is from the Roy family. The Roy family is known for the Gambhira. That's one of their major temples, the Gambhira. But that family has temples in Haridwar, has temples in Kolkata, has temples, they manage, and they have a trust, and I met one of the trustees and everything. That trust has been going for hundreds of years, where they appropriate money for different one of the temples. So where Gopinath Bhavan is standing right now, that place was one of their temples, but the temple became dilapidated and they moved the deities to another part and they rebuilt the temple. So that was abandoned by the Roy family, and then in the front part of that property they built another temple where the deities are standing now. And they have the same name as the deities that you'll find in the Gambhira. So that Ganesh that you're seeing there, he was at the front door. And many of the temples here, you'll see there's always a Ganesh to bring auspiciousness to the people. You greet Ganesh before you go into the temple. So this Ganesh was being greeted. He was greeting and being greeted for more than 300 years. And I asked when they were knocking down that entrance, I asked to please give me the Ganesh. So and today is the day of Ganesh. Today is Wednesday, the 30th. Today is 30th, 30th of April, Wednesday. And so his day, Ganesh, is Wednesday. So it fell perfectly. So I said, oh, this is nice. Ganesh is... Now, what is important about Ganesh? Ganesh is the one who's going to write. And Vyasadeva is the one who's going to speak. Now, today is the day also that Vyasadeva starts speaking. All the Puranas, Itihastas, all the writings, he speaks it today. He starts speaking. And Ganesh is writing down. The amazing part of personalities like Vyasadeva or Jayadev Goswami or even Srila Bhakti Siddhanta is they're a medium. They're a medium. Sometimes they don't even know what they have said or spoken or how it came down. So a few times Srila Bhakti Siddhanta, he would be speaking and they would be taking notes, and then all of a sudden he would turn to everybody and he says, what did I just say? And they'd say, no, nobody took it down and nobody can remember. And then he says, okay, lost forever, because they don't make an adjustment. They don't look at an audience and say, oh, this audience should hear this or this audience should hear that. No, they allow that to be done by Krishna, and they just speak. The philosophy just comes out. and it goes to the individual. So just that point. Okay, so now Parasuram's appearance dates today. Ganesh starts writing for Vyasadeva today. Also the Gangas. The Gangas had disappeared from this earth, and the disappearance and the coming of the Gangas happens many, many times, and there's many reasons why it happens. There's so many different leelas that happen, and they support. But the coming and the going of Gangas, that's a part of this creation. So the Ganga, when she was coming down this time, she came to the, of course, Lord Shiva stopped her thrush, and then he allowed her to come in very slowly from the Himalayas. But Padma Lochan, he writes a book also about Yamuna Devi, showing that not only was the Gangas there, but the Yamuna was there, and also 6 others. They all came down, to do their pastimes here in the material world. So it's not just the Gangas. But now, one would say, but why do we celebrate the appearance date of Ganga in June, when we're just going to be entering into May right now? Because the Gangas does appear, does come down, and does go to the Himalayas, but now she starts her journey from the Himalayas all the way to Gangasagara, which is near Calcutta. So that takes quite a long time. Bhagirati is in front of her, and she's following him all the way down to the Bay of Bengal. And that's also another pastime that you can look up, of Bhagirati calling the Gangas to come. So that coming to the Himalayas, and that's coming to the Himalayas is celebrated today. And then in June, we'll celebrate the going all the way to Kolkata. Also today is the day that they tried to disrobe Draupadi. And I'm pretty sure today is also the day that Draupadi had a Aksha Patra. An Aksha Patra is like a patra that will just keep on giving food, just keeps on giving food, keeps on giving food. So, but once Draupadi would eat, there would be no more production of the food in that Aksha Patra. So she had already taken, and Duras Muni was sent with 50,000 of his followers to disrupt. They were sent to disrupt the Pandavas. So of course Krishna comes, and from the Aksha Patra he finds one little grain of rice, and he eats that and becomes satisfied, and the sages become satisfied. So that also has happened today. And of course, in that same context, Annapurna, Anna meaning, many people just like stamp Anna as only rice. No, Anna is not only rice. It's that food stuff that gives you substance to life. Food stuff that gives substance to life. That's Anna. So Annapurna could be any place in the world where the people recognize this is what is giving us life. And of course the most appropriate one would be the rice, because it has so many functions. It can do so many things. So, and it's a very sacred grain. But it's not just limited to rice. Anna is not. So Annapurna is a manifestation of Devi, where she is giving all the food. So that's Akshapatra. That's the same thing. And many people, they just love to dedicate their mind to the wealth, because for them, for me, a good meal is wonderful, worth $1,000. A good meal. But for others, if the money's not there, then it doesn't really have that much value. So today is Kuber, the treasurer. Yeah, he was put in charge today. So he got a promotion, and he's now the treasurer of the demigods, treasurer of the demigods. So that's about it for the ones that I can remember. Annapurna, the Akshapatra of Draupadi, trying to disrobe Draupadi, Parasuram, appearance date, also Ganapati and Vyasadev. So it's quite a day today. It's quite a day. So it's at least just observe it. I do it in a simple way. They just got bath. Ganapati just got bath. He's going to get his meal and everything, and like that. And today in Puri, today is the day that they start making the rot. Okay, if you follow this, you got. This is the third. This is the third of the waxing moon. Now, you're going to go 21 days of Chandran Yatra. This is, here in Vrindavan, the place is loaded with people. And the police have already blocked many of the roads and everything because of the traffic. And because the most noted temple here is Banka Bihari. And Banka Bihari, all they do is, because Chandan Yatra should go for 21 days. But in the case of Banka Bihari, following the history, after Haridas, Haridas is known for Banka Bihari. Then Haridas in Nidhivan, that Nidhivan meaning the gardens of Nidhivan. So Haridas has left already. Then after that, the disciple of Haridas was Vittal. Vittal, he makes a deity, and that deity is what is now called Banka Bihari. And people confuse that deity with the original deity of Haridas. Haridas's deity, because of the Muslims coming, he was transported to Badapur. But still, the worship was being done by that succession. So the succession of the worship was then done to Banka Bihari. So now, Banka Bihari only gets 1 day of Chandran. But why 1 day? Because the Pujari of Banka Bihari, now, when I'm talking about Banka Bihari, I'm talking about a deity that's just standing on a stone. Maybe there's something protecting from the sun, but mostly there's just gardens here in Vrindavan and forests. And it would be so beautiful to be able to see Banka Bihari in that manner, where you see Radha Govindaji, before they built the temple for them, it was always just standing on a stone. That was it. It wasn't in a temple or anything. And the puja of Rupa Goswami was going on in that way. You just take some flowers and everything, and you decorate the deities, So Banka Bihari was the same thing, and we're coming, after the 1500s, after the 1600s, and Banka Bihari comes around the I think 1800s. You start seeing Banka. I think it's 1845. They actually built a temple for him. I think it was 1845. So it's quite a ways down the road. In 1570, they built the temple for Radha Govindaji. 1570, and now, 300 years later, they're building the temple for Banka Bihari, the known temple. There's a mystery behind that too, because actually it's not a temple that they built from scratch. It's a Rajput temple that was sitting in Keshi Ghat, and it's like the engineers were amazing, because they moved that temple from Keshi Ghat and they moved it over to the hill where Banka Bihari is, and they gave it to Banka Bihari. But that didn't happen until 1845. So it's not been worshipped it's not been worshipped longer than Radha Govindaji and the other prime temples of the Goswamis. But we allow that to happen, okay? So why only one day? Well, the pujari only had one hand, and he had a very difficult time in doing his worship, but he was a very dedicated person. So everybody accepted it like that. Like Julan Yatra for Banka Bihari is one day. Chandran Yatra is one day, because very difficult for one hand, okay? And so you can see the difficulties that were going on. Okay. Now, that is Chandran Yatra for Banka Bihari, a one-day thing, and they just put a ball of chandan next to the foot of Banka Bihari. And then today in Puri, they'll start Chandran Yatra for 21 days. Okay? 21 days. Then that will get us past the moon that's coming up. The full moon that's coming up is the moon that Radha Raman appears in. Radha Raman appears in the next full moon. And 21 days goes past that full moon. And then the next full moon in Jeshta, the full moon in Jeshta is the moon where Snan Yatra happens. So you've got 21 days. It's just nice to understand the whole history of Jagannath. You got 21 days of Chandan being put on Lord Jagannath. And then after those 21 days, there's still some days left. I could probably figure it out. Let's see. 3, 27. So you're still, after 21 days, you're still in the, before Amavasya, in the waning of the moon. So you've got maybe 2 weeks before the full moon. Yeah, you got about 2 weeks before the full moon. So after the 21 days, there's about 2 weeks. And I'm trying to remember. There's a marriage, there's an important marriage that happens. Okay, I can't remember it. Okay, and then you go into the Snan Yatra on the full moon. Not this next full moon, but the moon after that. The next full moon, don't forget it, one day before is Lord Nrsingadev's appearance date, and on the full moon is the appearance date of Radha Raman. And then you go to the next full moon, and you get the Snan Yatra. And Snan Yatra is full moon, okay? Now, we're going from full moon to full moon to full moon, okay? So we got the Snan Yatra happening on full moon, and also the next full moon is the beginning of Chaturmasya, and that is like the appearance. That's the appearance date of Vyasadeva. You know, the guru of the gurus. So that's that full moon. So you're going to go into, now we get 21 days of Snan Yatra. I mean 21 days of Chandan Yatra. Then after that we got maybe 2 weeks before the bathing of Lord Jagannath, and then we go another 2 weeks. It actually comes out to be more than 2 weeks, because on the let's see, I think it's the second day of the the second day of the waxing. Okay, let's just leave it like that. Okay, and then you'll be in Guru Purnim. Yeah, you'll come up to Guru Purnim. Oh, so beautiful. Meditating in this way just makes you feel so good. And of course, Chaturmasya all the way to Kartik. You got the Guru Purnim, then you got Balaram Purnim, then you got Vishwarup Purnim, then you got the Kartik Raslila Purnim. And then the next Purnim, after the Kartik, is Katyayani, Vrat Purnim. It's like a whole thing. So now Draupadi, she's getting disrobed on this day. But look how much time it's going to take. Look how much time it's going to take for everything to evolve. I may not know. The Pandavas may have already come back from their exile, or they may have not come back from their exile. But if they had come back from their exile, then they were supposed to get some land, and they didn't even get anything from the Kurus. So it would be only a few months more before they start the battle of Kurukshetra, and that's okay. That's also in the Ekadasi, where the Bhagavad Gita is spoken. So such beautiful things like that. Okay, we'll leave it like that. Now, I hope everybody has a nice Akshapatra, nice day today, remembering. And we're just looking for blessings of pure love of God. That's all we're looking for. And we hope everybody is in the same boat